everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here, fortunate to be here for the December 2016 Where Are the Christmas Cookies edition of the Worldox Virtual User Group meeting. There are Christmas cookies in the conference room, so if I go away and don't come back for a couple minutes, you'll know where I am. Today, we are talking about the viewer. Mary Jo is going to show us how to view a file in a couple different ways before you go through the trouble of opening it up. And I'm going to talk about taking files with you, getting files out of Worldox so that you can take them somewhere to work on them or just to have them available to you. Without any further ado, I'm going to press a couple magic buttons here and get out of the presentation software and get you into Worldox so that Mary Jo can talk about the viewer.
All right, we're going to let some documents load there. And so right now, you may be familiar with in previous versions that we had this little magnifying glass up here, and you can click on that and you can view a document. And that's still in effect. You can still get in here and you can bring up that document, whatever it would be. This happened to be an email. If this were a, I'm going to scroll down here and see if Paul has
Most everything I have is an email. Go to pre-law.
I'm going to scooch over to somewhere else so that we can.
Go into the confidential folder.
I don't think that would be a good place to be. So let's get into Purdue Law Offices, and let's go in here and see what we have. So we got some other document types in here. So it looks like, again, a bunch of emails, Paul. There's a PDF. There we go. There's a Word document. All right. So I just wanted to show you the difference in some of these different things when you view, but in GX4, they moved the preview pane over to the right here. So yes, you can still click on the view here, but we've also got this viewer over on the right-hand side that you can click on, view that document, and whichever one I happen to be highlighted on is the one it's going to preview over here on that side. I'm going to click over here to the PDF that I have, and you can see it's got that in there. Now, I don't have, you can drag this over farther if you want to and make that document bigger that way, or if you still want to see this, if it's too small, you can click on the little magnifying glass within the viewer and you can even see that document large again, just like you can when you click on the big viewer at the top. So there's a lot of different things here that you can do just in the little right-hand side. Now, Paul mentioned, a couple of things of why you might want to see that over there before you look at it or whatever. But a big thing that I see a use for this is with my clients is they want to attach a document to an email and they want to see it first before they attach it. So when you're coming in from Outlook and you're saying go to Worldox to choose the document and you highlight and you want to make sure you have the right hosted invoice or you want to see whatever that is, you can preview it real quick to make sure you've got the right date, and then you can go ahead and click on this and send it over. So it works really good. There's a couple of other options in here, so you can refresh. You can also fit it to read. So if I do this, it's going to shrink this way down so that I can read it in there. Maybe it's on that, and I just have to pull that over. And then here we've got fit the width, and you also can do the fit to window, and you can text. And then there's some binoculars here for you to do a search, and then you can print it as well from there. Some other things that happen, sometimes when you click on a PDF, for instance, it may not load. It might have a little click to read or something like that in here. And that's due to the size of the document. Some of those large PDF documents, it's just going, well, it's so big I'm not going to open the viewer unless you tell me to. And there's some settings you can use to control that by right-clicking on the preview pane. I have it open and I'm right-clicking. And then all those things that I was talking about up here, they're also available on that. And then you can set your click to view for the Adobe. So when you see that click to view, whoops, I moved off of there. When you see that click to view setting on there, you can go ahead and click on that, and then it's asking you, do you want to preview it immediately, always require the click, or you can say only if it's a certain size. So you can come in and you can set those defaults. If you always want to preview your PDFs, you can just check this box to preview immediately, and then that will always go ahead and preview those PDFs instead of having that click to view. That's a big thing I see with clients all the time. You can also click through the list. So if I just go up and down, I can hit my up arrow, my down arrow, whatever I'm doing here, and it's just changing my preview of whatever document that I'm looking at. So that kind of quickly lets you go through and scroll and look at some different documents. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing there, Paul. Hiding the view. Okay, so if I want to always have my viewer open and I want that to always be my default, I can change that and have it open, and then all my columns that I normally have, I can fit my screen how I want it. And then on the customize, I can make that my favorite view. And if I have that open, that will always be my favorite view then. Now you can always hide it with that little arrow pointing to the right there. You can view it by opening it this way, but whatever you want your default to be, if it's open, you can customize and make it the default, or if it's closed, you can customize and make that your default view as well. So you got some options there with just looking at it and what your default actions will be. I tend to like to be able to see it in a view that I can actually read. This isn't too bad, but sometimes I have seen clients where this is just so tiny, it's almost like, well, I can't even read that. So this, little magnifying glass is great to just kind of look at it quickly, decide, and then get back out and go attach it. So, or view it, whatever you want to do there. That is the viewer.
Awesome. Very good. The inline viewing capability is what's new. This button here has always been here, but this new inline viewing capability is really significant, I think. I used to think this was just fine, but being able, just like in Outlook, to move up and down that list and see what's going on, I think that's very cool. And that ability to move up and down the list very, very quickly is why they have the click to view options. If you have a list that has 20 10-megabyte PDFs and you just keep hitting the down arrow and it's trying to view this one, and then you get to another and it's trying to view that and it's trying to view another and another, that's really going to bog down your system. So they put in those click to view options to allow you to, or to force you to click on it further if you want to see such a big file. I'm going to talk about getting stuff out of Worldox so that you can either work on it or just have it. And that's an important distinction because I'm going to show you two different ways to get things out of Worldox. If I just take any document, let's say this one right here, and I right click, I can choose send to, and I can say copy to Windows Desktop, copy to Windows My Documents, copy to Windows My Pictures. We have a special send to that we've created for certain clients that copy to a Worldox folder. What these things do, so if I take this hosted invoice and I copy to Windows Desktop, it does. It just copies it out there. It's still in Worldox. It didn't move it. But if I look here, one of the documents that's going to be here is that hosted invoice right there that came from Worldox just now. I can then do with that anything I want to do with it. I can take it and put it on a flash drive. If I'm copying it out to my desktop and I've got a laptop that I'm taking home, I don't have to do anything with it. It's on my desktop on the laptop. I can email it, although you can just email it straight from Worldox. I can put it on a CD. I can do anything I want to it. And so people ask me, they say, well, how can I get all of the documents from this matter, or all of the pleadings or the discovery documents or a certain type of document? All you need to do, if you really just want to get them somewhere, is highlight the appropriate documents by using the checkbox, or by using Control-A for marking all of them, or using the option to right-click and choose all the ones above or all the ones below or something like that. And get the ones that you want marked, and then simply highlight one of them, right-click, and say send to the desktop or to my documents or my pictures. Now, part of the problem with sending to the desktop is that you end up putting it in a place where there's other stuff. If we send this to the desktop and there's a whole bunch of other icons, you might have a hard time finding it. Or if I send it to my documents and there's hundreds of documents already in my documents, then you, again, might have a hard time finding it or knowing which ones, especially when you're sending more than one. So we showed, I believe, recently, if you search our website, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, for send to, we showed how to create this special send to that's right here, that allows you to send it to a folder called Worldox on your desktop. And if it doesn't exist, it'll create it. So you can take a bunch of documents, dozens of them, hundreds of them, and send them specifically to an empty folder. So then when you open that Worldox folder on your desktop, you'll already have an empty folder that now has those dozens of documents, or in the instance of what I'm about to show you, these 4 documents all in that folder. Now, if you've already got this set up, one of the things you're going to want to make sure is that you don't already have a Worldox folder on your desktop, and I do. So if I'm done with the documents that are in there, I've done what I want with them, I can just delete it, or I can go in and I can simply empty it out. Either way will work. And now if I go back into Worldox and right-click on, I have to reselect them. Let me select these 3 right here, and right-click on one of them and say Send to Worldox folder. It says, do you want to do the 3 that are checked? I say yes. It tells me it did it. And now if I go out here and look for that Worldox folder, it will have reappeared and now has those 3 documents. So that can be handy. You can write these send tos to send to a specific folder, to send to a folder and create it if it's not already there. You'll notice that when I send it, it doesn't have that doc ID as its name, even though that's what the name would be if you looked straight into Windows. It puts the long file name, the actual description, in the name of the document. So it makes it very easy for you to see what's going on. These send tos can be created to do a variety of things, and that's not the topic of what we're talking about here, creating a specific or special send to. But if you search our website and look for that, you'll be able to find the virtual user group meeting where we did talk about creating send tos. Now, the thing is, when I do all those things I've just talked about, I am not letting Worldox really know or care about the fact that I've taken that document. So if I take that hosted invoice and put it on my desktop and I take it home and I edit it, and at the same time Patty is in there and she's editing it in Worldox and she saves it, and then I come back and I dump it back into Worldox, it's very possible that I'm going to obliterate what she has done because Worldox doesn't know it's gone, and so when Patty goes to open it, it doesn't know that I've already got it, okay? So what I've already shown you is perfectly appropriate if you want to take something to look at it later, but you're not really going to work on it. If you're going to work on it, you should instead check it out. And you've got an icon, oops, didn't mean to open the email, hold on, back in there. You've got an icon on your bar here, your button bar, and if you don't, you can add it by right-clicking and appending a button, or you can get to it by File and then Check Out right there, or you can right-click on the document itself and you can choose Check Out. And if you don't have Checkout on the first menu, you just go over to the More menu and it'll be there, and then once you've used it once, it'll be on your first menu. But if I check a document out, if I, for instance, take this hosted invoice, let's go down just a little, and I want to take the Excel file because I'm going to edit it. I can highlight it, right-click on it, or in any other way choose Check Out. And I can put it in my local mirror folder, in my documents. I can create other places where it would go. I'm going to take it to my documents. I'm having trouble clicking on this. Yeah, see if it works for you, Mary Jo. Let's take it someplace. Yeah, let's try it again. Well, it shouldn't have been. It should have been this. Okay, now Checkout is on my first menu because I've already done it. I'm going to take it to my documents. Okay, there's something going on. Yeah, yeah, it could be. Okay, anyways, I'm just going to put it in the C drive. No, it could be. Yeah, you're right. It could be something to do with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the commission report folder and save it, and there it goes. Now, what's important to note here is that this is now checked out, and it knows that it's checked out, and it considers this to be in use by me. and I'm going to take it home, or I'm going to take it to wherever I'm going. I'm going to court this morning, and I'm going to work on it. And if Patty tries to open this document, it's going to say, Paul has this checked out. You can't really open it to edit it. Do you want to open a read-only copy? And that's just like what would happen if I was at the office and had it open on my screen and Patty tried to open it. It would say, you can't really do this right now because Paul's got it open, and we don't want to cause some sort of a conflict where you're saving over his changes or he's saving over your changes. And then all I have to do when I get back is check it in. And it will either allow me to discard the offline copy and just revert to the original, or if I had made changes, it would know that, and it would give me another option here that says save changes, put changes back on the system. So once I check it back in, then anybody else can get it. So the difference between checking it out and just copying it is whether or not Worldox knows and whether or not Worldox cares about the fact that you have that document. If you think you're going to be editing something and you need to take it home or you need to take it out of Worldox to do that, now that doesn't mean that if you're in the office you should check out a document just to open it and work on it. No, this is for when you're going to take it away from your network, you're going to take it away from Worldox to work on alone, separate from Worldox, to bring back later. Every morning when you log into Worldox, if you have documents checked out, it will tell you down here in your tray, and it'll give you a chance to check them in right there. If you come in and you have documents checked out and you don't know why, just go ahead and check them back in. People, one of the most common questions we get is, I have documents checked out and I really don't know what that means. Well, then just put them back. Tell it, get rid of it. I didn't make any changes. Just let it be open for other people to open and access at this point because I didn't change anything. And that's checking in and checking out. And it's also send to. So there's two ways to get things out. You can just take something and do with it as you will, but Worldox doesn't know, so you really don't want to make changes and try and bring it back, or you run the risk of overwriting something somebody else did. And then there's check in, check out, and check back in, which allows you to kind of put a placeholder there and say, I've got this, and nobody else should really mess with it till I get it back. So that's that. Next month, we're going to talk about workspaces. Mary Jo is. Workspaces is something that's kind of new in Worldox and been kind of changed around with this latest release of GX4. Kind of a way to give you sort of a folder-like structure, a way to organize things into groups, documents into groups within matters. It's called Workspaces. And I'm going to talk about Open With. What if you have a PDF and you want to open it, but you don't want to open it with Adobe? You want to open it with a different PDF editor. Very easy to do. I didn't even know we could do this until I kind of stumbled upon it the other day, so we decided to make it a topic for next month's virtual user group meeting for Worldox. Now, what kind of a host would I be if I didn't take you to Attorney Computer Systems, with a very clever emphasis on the last S in the word systems, to let you know that you have to put that in there if you're going to get to our site, and show you that if you click on or hover over this video's menu item, you will get a list of all of our recorded and live events that you can then browse later. We have our 3 virtual user group meetings, Worldox, which you're in right now, Practice Master, and Tabs 3, plus our other live event, the Coffee Pot webinar series, where I present some sort of ancillary product. Last Friday it was Nelco, which makes checks and 1099s for the Tabs 3 accounting software. And a couple months ago it was Symphony, which makes OCRing software to use with Worldox. These live events, if you click on one of them, like this one, the Worldox Virtual User Group Meeting, it will take you to a page that describes the Virtual User Group Meeting, talks about the next, this is actually this one, but the next event, gives you the title and the description and 2 links that are both identical to register, gives you the date and time, and then as you scroll down, you will find recorded versions of every other Worldox Virtual User Group Meeting that we ever did. So if we go down to the bottom, you'll see that there's quite a bit. If we see here, there are 9 pages, so 9 times 5, I think that's 45. Several years worth of Worldox Virtual User Group meetings waiting for you, along with Tabs and Practice Master and the Coffee Pot webinars, and our pre-recorded titles, the eBytes video series that Mary Jo does 3 of every month, one on tabs, one on Practice Master, one on Worldox, little 2, 3, 4-minute videos with some sort of interesting little tidbit, something we think is really cool, but just a very small thing. And then there's our broader, longer format Paul and Mary Jo show, where either I or Mary Jo will take a broader topic and dig deeply into it, spending 10 or 15, sometimes 20 minutes going into all the little nooks and crannies and explaining everything there is to know about that topic. So please take advantage of this content. If you want to browse, browse. If you want to search, for instance, I think I said send to was something that we did in one of the virtual user group meetings. Just type your term here, either use the pop-up list or the well, that's not it. One of these is going to be about using the send to in Worldox, and searching for send to is going to find it for you. So go out and figure out how to do that Worldox send to Worldox folder and report back. Everybody have a good holiday season, a good rest of the month, rest of the year, and we will see you next year in 2017. Thanks much. Bye-bye.